As we continue our small group study today, I'd like us to think about what makes us restless. Where does the noise come from that destroys our peace? As we get started today, I want you to think about one question. Am I quiet on the inside? Now, by quiet, I don't mean some Zen-like absolute silence, but is there a calm stillness in you right now because of your hope in God? If not, what noise is there? What fears, pressures, temptations, struggles are there? In the chaos of life, sometimes it's hard to make sense of the noise, but each noise is actually a voice saying something. Fear says God isn't with you. Temptation says God is not enough. Each voice is saying something very untrue about our God. But thankfully, King David wrote Psalm 131 to kind of give us a glimpse of what a calm and quiet heart can look like as we worship and have a good relationship with God. So let's start by reading Psalm 131. O Lord, my heart is not lifted up. My eyes are not raised too high. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvelous for me. But I have calmed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. O Israel, hope in the Lord from this time forth and forevermore. Now, let's stop and think about who's writing this psalm. David didn't exactly have a calm life. His life was marked by adultery, murder, deceit, betrayal, and that's just the stuff he did. There was never a point in his life where someone wasn't trying to kill him. And yet he draws us into this vivid, compact picture of what his rest with God looked like. It drew from his relationship with God. He didn't say, I have calmed and quieted my kids, or surely I have calmed and quieted my kingdom. He says, surely I have calmed and quieted my soul, because he has occupied himself with and worshiped God. As a new dad, I really get this picture. When we brought my son home from the hospital, I didn't realize I was installing an air raid siren in my bedroom. In the middle of the night, when our bedroom feels like a fallout shelter, I can walk over to the bassinet, look in there, and see my son, and I know he is the most distressed and out of control person there is. And yet, moments later, after he has been fed, he is the most calm and comforted and fulfilled person I know. So yesterday I was holding him, and as I looked at him, I saw he is a picture of my heart. When I am away from God, I am just flailing and out of control and distressed. But after I've worshiped God, I'm at rest. David understood this too. He was a king. He had control over pretty much everyone and everything, but he never leaned on his power for rest. He was also a musician. He calmed some of the angriest kings with his beautiful melodies, but he didn't lean on his abilities to produce rest either. He found his rest exclusively in worshiping God. Sadly, we are hardwired to think that rest is situational, that it comes from controlling our environment or escaping it. We think rest is something that lives on sandy beaches or on quiet mountains, or is on the other side of a busy schedule, a major project, or after we take 2 tablespoons of ZzzQuil. But the Bible teaches us that Christ is our peace. He's not hiding behind some palm tree. He's actually waiting for us to worship him. So if you want to get to the bottom of what robs you of rest, you have to see what robs God of glory in your life. The answer is idols. An idol can be anything that's more important to you than God. I can idolize my wife if I think making her happy will be what gives me peace and rest. I can idolize work if I think pleasing my boss and doing a really good job is going to bring me comfort and rest. There are plenty of ways to identify your idols. But for now, let's just ask one question. Apart from God, what promises peace? What if it was taken away would just totally wreck your peace? A clean house, a health or financial goal being met, having time with your family. Those are good things, but if we cling to them for our source of rest, they become idols. We all experience a sense of relief and rest when we achieve a goal or make a dream come true. But we can really idolize that moment and live for it. We can live for the euphoria of checking things off our to-do lists and our bucket lists and lay God to the side. But when we do that, when we push God out, we end up searching for his peace that passes understanding in anyone or anything else. And so everything in our lives could become an idol. You don't really need to know all 50 idols that come through your heart every day, but you really do need to understand your heart. Your heart not only wants to worship, that's all it can do. All you can do is worship. And so if you don't worship God at the beginning of the day, then don't be surprised if you start bowing down to your planner throughout the day. Well, we all have idols. It's not too difficult to find out what our idols are. The hard part is turning away from them, and that's repentance. Repentance is coming to this place where you truly believe God is better than your idols, and you come back to him. You turn away from those idols. Now, we'll talk about repentance more in the next section, but just take a few minutes now and evaluate your own hearts. Answer the X-ray questions that are in front of you, and really try to think through why you cling to the idols that you do so that you can understand how to cling to God and find that picture of rest that David paints for us in Psalm 131.